There's a clock on your wall right now. Take a good look at it. That simple device ticking away. Second by second holds more power over your life than any boss, any bank account, or any circumstance you'll ever face. You know why? Because what you do between those ticks determines everything. I was walking through an art gallery recently, and something fascinating caught my eye. A massive painting, divided into 24 equal parts. Each section told a different story of one person's life. The artist called it a day in the life. And it hit me, that's exactly what each of our days represents. Your day is nothing less than your life in miniature. Most people wake up and just let their day happen to them. They drift through the hours like a leaf in the wind, bouncing from one crisis to another, one distraction to the next, one unplanned moment to another. And then they wonder why their years feel empty, why their goals stay dreams, why their potential remains just that potential. But you're different. You're here because something inside you knows there's more. You can feel it, that burning sensation in your gut telling you that mastery isn't just for others, it's for you. And you're right. If you master one day, just one day, you've mastered your life. Because life doesn't come at you in years or decades. It comes at you in days, 24 hours, 1,440 minutes. Each one a chance to move forward or slide backward. Each one a seed that will grow into your future. I've spent decades studying successful people. And I'll tell you something remarkable. The difference between the person who achieves their dreams and the one who doesn't isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even opportunity. It's what they do with those 24 hours. It's their ability to master their day. When you master your day, you master your life. When you control your hours, you control your destiny. It's that simple. And it's that profound. Success doesn't require complexity, it requires consistency. Excellence doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. Power doesn't come from position, it comes from precision in how you use your time. What makes this even more exciting is that you already have everything you need to begin. You don't need special equipment. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to understand one fundamental truth. Your day is your life in miniature. And how you live your day is how you live your life. This message isn't just about time management. It's about life management. Because when you truly grasp what I'm about to share with you about mastering your day, you'll never look at a clock the same way again. You'll never treat an hour as ordinary again. And most importantly, you'll never waste another day waiting for your life to begin. Every one of us has been given the same divine gift, 24 hours. No more, no less. I don't care if you're the richest person in your city or struggling to make ends meet. When the sun rises, you get 24 hours. The question isn't about having time. It's about what you understand about time. Time consciousness isn't just knowing what time it is. That's elementary. Time consciousness is understanding that every minute you breathe is either taking you closer to your purpose or further away from it. There's no neutral ground. None. Zero. I want you to grasp something profound right now. Most people, and I mean most, treat time like they treat the air they breathe. They know it's there, they use it, but they never really think about it. They're time unconscious. And that's why they fail. That's why they wake up at 50, 60, or 70 years old. Looking back and wondering, what happened to my dreams? Let me tell you what happened. They never connected their daily activities to their life's purpose. They never made that crucial link between the minutes they spend and the legacy they leave. They're busy. They're very busy, but they're not productive. There's a world of difference between movement and achievement. I was talking to a young man recently, bright fellow, full of potential. He told me, I don't have time to work on my dream, so I asked him to show me his phone screen time. You know what we found? 4 hours a day on social media. 4 hours. That's not a time problem, that's a priority problem. That's a purpose problem. Here's what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. The extraordinary person understands that purpose must drive their schedule, not the other way around. Your calendar isn't just a collection of appointments, it's a declaration of what matters to you. Show me how you spend your time, and I'll show you what you truly value. Why people fail to master their days? It's not complicated. They fail because they haven't defined what mastery looks like for them. They're playing a game without knowing the rules or the score. They're trying to hit a target they haven't even set up. People who master their days have an unshakable sense of purpose. They know why they're doing what they're doing. Every hour has a purpose. Every activity has a purpose. Every decision has a purpose. When you know your purpose, you know what to say yes to and what to say no to. When you know your purpose, you don't have to debate whether to get up early or hit the snooze button. When you know your purpose, you don't have to wonder if you're making progress. You can measure it. The connection between purpose and daily execution is like the relationship between a river and its banks. The banks give the river direction, power, and focus. Without banks, a river becomes a swamp. Without purpose, your day becomes a series of reactions rather than actions. What you need to understand about purpose, it's not something you find like a lost key. Something you forge through conscious, deliberate decisions about how you use your time. Every time you choose to spend an hour on something, you're saying, this is part of my purpose. Every time you postpone something important, you're saying, this isn't really my purpose. I want you to do something right now. Take a mental snapshot of your last week. Where did your time go? What consumed your hours? Were those hours aligned with what you say is important to you? Were they moving you toward your goals or just filling space in your day? Long-time consciousness without purpose consciousness is like having a high-powered car with no destination. You might make great time, but you'll end up nowhere in particular. The magic happens when you align your time with your purpose. When every hour has meaning. When every activity moves you closer to your goals. This isn't about perfection. It's about progression. It's about making sure that each day, more of your time is spent on purpose-driven activities than on purposeless ones. It's about gradually shifting from time management to purpose management. Time will pass whether you use it well or not. The sun will set whether you've moved closer to your dreams or not. The question isn't whether time will pass, it's whether you'll pass through time consciously or purposefully, making each day count. That first hour of your day, it's pure gold. But most people treat it like loose change. They stumble through it, rush through it, or sleep through it. And then they wonder why their whole day feels like they're playing catch up with life. How you start your day is how you live your day. And how you live your day is how you live your life. That first hour, those first 60 minutes after your eyes open, they're like the rudder of a ship. Small adjustments there determine where you'll end up by nightfall. I learned something powerful years ago that changed everything for me. The mind is most programmable in those first moments after waking. It's like wet cement, whatever falls on it leaves an impression. Most people, they immediately grab their phone, check their messages, scroll through social media. They're programming their mind for reaction instead of action, for consumption instead of creation. What if, and this is big, what if instead of letting the world pour into your mind first thing in the morning, you poured into yourself? What if you owned that first hour? I'll tell you what happens. Everything changes. what the first hour of a champion looks like. Not complicated, but powerful. The moment you wake up, and I mean the very moment you say something positive, could be as simple as this is going to be a magnificent day. Words have power, especially the first words you speak to yourself. Then you move, not marathon running, just movement. Get your blood flowing, stretch those muscles. Your body has been still for hours. It needs to come back to life. When you move your body, you move your mind. They're connected. You see, can't have a sharp mind in a stagnant body. Next comes what I call mental feeding time. 15 minutes of reading something that builds you up. Not the news. Not social media, something that adds value to your mind. Could be a book on personal development. Could be biography of someone you admire. Could be anything that makes you think bigger thoughts. But here's where most people miss it. They skip the silence. You need quiet time. Time to think, to plan, to visualize. 5 minutes of absolute quiet can give you more clarity than 5 hours of chaos. In that silence, you plan your day. Not just what you'll do, but who you'll be while doing it. And then there's what I call your personal power hour preparation. You write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Not a to-do list with 20 items, just the big 3. The ones that, if you accomplish them, will move your life forward. Everything else is just activity. Mental preparation, it's not just about what you put in. It's about what you keep out. You've got to guard your mind like you'd guard your home. You wouldn't let just anyone walk into your house, would you? So why let any thought walk into your mind? The alignment of your physical and mental state is like tuning an instrument. If you're out of tune, everything you play will be off. That's why this morning ritual isn't just about doing, it's about becoming. You're not just preparing for your day. You're preparing yourself. I know what some of you are thinking. But I don't have time for all this. Let me ask you something. Do you have time to live a mediocre life? Do you have time to wonder, what if? Do you have time to watch your dreams slip away because you couldn't invest 1 hour in yourself? This isn't about adding more to your morning. It's about making your morning matter. It's about creating a foundation so strong that the rest of your day has no choice but to build upon it. When you master your morning, you master your day. And speaking of mastery, there's something powerful we need to understand about having true dominion over your schedule. Authority. Most people think they need someone to give it to them. But when it comes to your time, your schedule, your life, you already have all the authority you need. The question is, are you exercising it? Most people are time slaves. And they don't even know it. They're serving time instead of having time serve them. They look at their schedule like it's some kind of prison sentence rather than a canvas for creating their future. That's not living, that's existing. I was at a coffee shop the other day, watching people rush in and out. Everyone looked busy, stressed, important. But here's what caught my attention. They all had the same look in their eyes. The look of someone being chased by their schedule, by their commitments, by their obligations. And I thought to myself, they don't own their time owns them. Having authority over your schedule isn't about controlling every minute. That's impossible. And it's not even desirable. It's about understanding the difference between responding and reacting. When you respond, you're in control. When you react, the situation controls you. Let me give you a principle that changed my life. Your schedule is a reflection of your values. Not what you say you value, what you actually value. If you say your family is important, but they only get the leftover minutes of your day, guess what? Your schedule is telling the truth about your values that your words aren't. Time stewardship. Now, there's a concept worth its weight in gold. Most people manage time, but managing isn't enough. You don't want to just manage your money, do you? No, you want to grow it. Invest it. Make it work for you. Time is no different. Every minute is an investment. The question is, are you investing in your future or are you just spending? What real-time stewardship looks like. You treat every hour like it's borrowed. Because it is. None of us know how many hours we have left. So each one becomes precious. Each one becomes an opportunity. Each one becomes a seed that can grow into something magnificent. But let me tell you about breaking free from time slavery, because that's where the real power lies. Time slavery isn't just about being busy. Some of the busiest people I know are the most free. Why? Because they're busy by choice, not by chance. They're busy building their dreams, not just paying their bills. The first step to breaking free is understanding this. Your time is yours to give, not others to take. When you really grasp this, everything changes. You stop saying yes automatically. You stop feeling guilty for protecting your time. You start realizing that every yes to something is a no to something else. I met a successful businessman who told me something profound. He said, I don't have a schedule, I have a success template. He meant that his daily schedule wasn't just a list of appointments. It was a carefully crafted plan for achieving his goals. Every hour was purposeful. Every activity was intentional. Time freedom isn't about having nothing to do. It's about choosing what you do. Big difference, huge difference when you have authority over your schedule. You can say yes to opportunities that matter and no to distractions that don't. Most people get stuck. They think they need permission to take control of their time. Permission from their boss, their family, their friends. Let me tell you something. The only permission you need is your own. The only authority you need is your own. If someone handed you $1 million, you'd probably be very careful about how you spent it. You'd think twice before wasting it. You'd invest it wisely. Well, your time is worth more than money. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. A practical step to establishing dominion over your day. Start with what I call time blocking, not just scheduling appointments, but blocking time for your priorities. Block time for thinking. Block time for creating. Block time for relationships. Block time for rest. When you block time for what matters, what doesn't matter has to wait its turn. And remember this, and this is crucial, you don't need to apologize for taking control of your time. You don't need to feel guilty about protecting your schedule. Because when you take control of your time, you're not being selfish, you're being responsible. The truth is, breaking free from time slavery is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But it starts with a decision to stop being a victim of your schedule and start being its master. To stop letting time push you around and start directing it toward your goals. And speaking of goals, there are 7 fundamental laws that govern daily excellence. And understanding these laws will transform how you approach each day. Excellence isn't an accident, never has been, never will be. It's a result of understanding and applying certain unchanging laws. Just like gravity works whether you believe in it or not. These 7 laws of daily excellence work whether you acknowledge them or not. Let's start with the law of preparation. Most people want to win, but they don't want to prepare to win. They want the harvest, but they don't want to plant the seeds. Here's the truth. Your day starts the night before. Winners don't start preparing when the battle begins. They're already prepared when the opportunity shows up. I remember talking to an Olympic athlete. Everyone saw her gold medal performance, but nobody saw her 4 a.m. training sessions. Nobody saw her preparing when everyone else was sleeping. That's the law of preparation in action. Your future is created by what you do before you need to do it. The law of priority, not priorities, priority, the power of one thing. Most people fail not because they can't do everything, but because they try to do everything. Listen carefully. Priority is not about what's important. It's about what's most important. Big difference. What most people do, they make a to-do list with 20 items and feel productive crossing off the easy ones. But here's the truth. If you have 20 priorities, you have no priorities. The law of priority says focus on the one thing that will make everything else easier or unnecessary. Then there's the law of progressive achievement. This one's fascinating. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They want instant results. But excellence doesn't work that way. It's not about giant leaps. It's about small steps taken consistently. You can't go to the gym once and lift weights for 24 hours straight and expect results. It doesn't work that way. You go for an hour a day, every day. And over time, transformation happens. That's the law of progressive achievement. Small daily improvements compound into massive results. Something that makes people uncomfortable, the law of personal responsibility. This one's simple but profound. Your life is your fault. All of it, the good, the bad, and everything in between. The moment you accept this law, everything changes. Because when you're responsible for everything, you're also capable of changing everything. Most people want to find someone to blame. Their parents, their boss, the economy, the weather, anything but themselves. But here's what successful people know. The moment you blame someone else, you give away your power to change. The law of personal responsibility says you own your life, all of it. The law of present focus might be the most powerful of all, because the present moment is where all your power is. Most people live in one of two places, the past or the future. They're either regretting what happened or worrying about what might happen. Meanwhile, their present is slipping away unused, unlived. You can't change yesterday. You can't control tomorrow. But you can own today. The law of present focus says your power is in the now, not in what happened an hour ago, not in what might happen tonight in this moment. Right here, right now. The law of productivity is different from being busy. Productivity isn't about doing more things, it's about doing more of the right things. I see people all the time who are busy being busy. They confuse activity with achievement. Motion doesn't always mean progress. Think about a rocking chair, lots of motion, no progress. The law of productivity says focus on results, not activity. Don't count the hours you put in. Count what you put into the hours. Big difference. Huge difference. And finally, we come to the law of purpose alignment. This is the crown jewel. Because without this one, the other 6 laws might make you successful, but they won't make you fulfilled. Everything you do must align with why you're here. Every action must connect to your purpose. I talked to a man once who was making a lot of money but was miserable. Why? Because his daily activities weren't aligned with his purpose. He was climbing the ladder of success only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall. The law of purpose alignment says success without fulfillment is failure. Now, here's what's fascinating about these 7 laws. They work together. Like instruments in an orchestra. Each one plays its part in creating the symphony of excellence. Miss one. And the whole thing's off key. Apply them all. And magic happens. But remember this, and this is crucial, knowing these laws isn't enough. Understanding them isn't enough. You've got to apply them every day, every hour, every minute. Because these laws are like gravity, they're always working, whether you're aware of them or not. When you start applying these laws, something incredible happens. Your days stop feeling like a struggle. They start feeling like a strategy. You stop feeling like a victim of time and start feeling like a master of it. But there's something else we need to talk about. Because even when you understand and apply these laws, you're going to face something that tries to knock you off course every single day, distractions. And knowing how to handle them is critical to your success. You know what amazes me? We live in the most prosperous, most opportunity-filled time in human history. And yet, we're also living in the most distracted time ever known. The average person today is more distracted in 1 hour than their grandparents were in an entire week. Think about that. Let me tell you about the modern day thieves of time. They don't wear masks. They don't break into your house. They come through your phone, your computer, your TV. They come disguised as urgent emails, breaking news, social media notifications, and the most dangerous part, we invite them in. I watched a young entrepreneur the other day. Brilliant mind, amazing potential. But every 3 minutes, I counted every 3 minutes, he checked his phone. Each time, it took him about 5 minutes to get back into deep focus. Do the math. He was losing half his day to these interruptions. And he didn't even realize it. Distraction isn't just stealing your time, it's stealing your life. Because your life is made up of your focus moments. And if you can't focus, you can't build, you can't create, you can't become who you're meant to be. Focus isn't about forcing yourself to concentrate. It's about eliminating the things that break your concentration. Big difference, huge difference. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water you can pour faster. Or you can plug the holes. Plugging the holes is much more effective. I developed what I call the power hour protocol, simple but profound. You take 1 hour, just 1 hour, and you eliminate every possible distraction. Phone off, not on silent. Email closed, not minimized. Closed. Door shut, not partially closed, shut. And in that 1 hour, you'll accomplish more than most people do in a day. The ability to focus is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But also like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets weaker. That's why so many people today can't focus for more than a few minutes. They've never developed their focus muscle. The power of saying no, most people think success comes from saying yes to the right things. And that's partly true. But real success comes from saying no to the wrong things. Because every time you say yes to something that's not aligned with your goals, you're saying no to something that is. I met a successful CEO who told me something fascinating. She said, I don't make decisions. I have pre-made decisions meeting. She already knows what she'll say yes and no to before the opportunity or distraction shows up. That's power. That's clarity. That's focus. Every yes must be defended by 1,000 no's. Think about that. For every one thing you say yes to, you must be willing to say no to 1,000 other things. Most people have this backward. They say yes to everything and then try to find time for what's important. Doesn't work. But here's the challenge, and this is where most people get stuck. Saying no isn't just about saying no to others. It's about saying no to yourself. No to that urge to check your phone. No to that impulse to switch tasks before you're finished. No to that desire to take the easy way out. Let me give you a practical strategy. It's called the 3 Ds. Delete, delegate, or do. When something comes your way, you have only these 3 options. Delete it if it's not essential. Delegate it if someone else can do it. Do it if it's truly yours to do. But here's the key: you must decide immediately. No floating tasks. No maybe later tasks. Decide now. And remember this, your ability to say no will determine your ability to say yes to what matters. Because time and energy are finite resources. You can't do everything. You can't be everything. You have to choose. The most successful people I know aren't the ones who do the most things. They're the ones who do the most important things. They've mastered the art of elimination before optimization. They don't try to manage distractions. They eliminate them. When you start eliminating distractions, when you start saying no to the non-essential, something magical happens. You find time you didn't know you had. You find energy you didn't know you possessed. You find focus you didn't know was possible. And speaking of what's possible, there's something powerful we need to understand about creating a rhythm that sustains success. Success, it has a rhythm. Just like your heartbeat, just like the seasons, just like the tides. Success isn't a sprint, it's a dance. And once you find your rhythm, everything changes. Most people are looking for the big break, the quantum leap, the overnight success. But real success doesn't work that way. Real success comes from finding your rhythm and staying in it, day after day, week after week, year after year. I watched a master craftsman once every morning, same time. He'd enter his workshop, he'd clean his tools, organize his space, and then begin his work. No drama, no fanfare, just consistent, deliberate action. And you know what? His work was extraordinary. Why? Because he wasn't trying to be extraordinary, he was just being consistent. Momentum. It's harder to get started than to keep going. Think about pushing a car. The first few feet are the hardest. But once it's moving, it takes less effort to keep it moving. That's why your daily rhythm is so crucial. It keeps you moving. Most people want to feel motivated before they take action. Action creates motivation. Motivation doesn't create action. When you establish a rhythm, when you show up every day regardless of how you feel, something magical happens. The motivation follows the motion. Small actions, repeated daily, create massive results over time. It's like interest in a bank account. $1, compounded daily. Becomes a fortune over time. One positive action, compounded daily, becomes a transformed life. If you improve just 1% each day, in a year you'll be 37 times better. Not 37% better, 37 times better. That's the power of daily excellence compounded over time. That's what happens when you find your rhythm and stick to it. Your rhythm must be sustainable. I see people all the time who try to change everything at once. They go from 0 to 100 overnight. Doesn't work. Never has. Never will. You want a rhythm you can maintain for the next 20 years. Not just the next 20 days. Your rhythm should energize you, not exhaust you. If your daily patterns are draining you, they're not sustainable. The right rhythm feels like flowing with the current instead of fighting against it. It feels natural, even when it's challenging. The most successful people I know aren't the ones who work the hardest, they're the ones who work the most consistently. They found their rhythm, and they protect it like it's gold, because it is gold. It's the foundation of everything they achieve. Right now, in this moment, you're standing at the intersection of who you are and who you could be. The difference between those two isn't knowledge, you've got that now. It's not opportunity, you've got that too. The only difference is action. Immediate, decisive action. Here's what I want you to do the moment we finish. Take out a piece of paper. Write down 3 things, just 3, that you're going to do differently tomorrow morning. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Not when the timing is perfect. Tomorrow morning. Because if you don't start immediately, you're not starting at all. The world is full of people who are going to start on Monday, going to start next month, going to start when the kids are older, going to start when they have more time. But your life is happening right now. Your future is being created right now. Your legacy is being written right now. Remember what we talked about, your days, your life in miniature. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, you've got a choice to make. You can hit snooze and keep living the same day over and over. Or you can rise up and start creating the life you were meant to live. Don't make the mistake of waiting for everything to be perfect. It never will be. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Start with one small change in your morning routine. One small adjustment in how you handle distractions. One small improvement in how you invest your time. Because here's the truth, and this is the last thing I'll share with you today. The life you want, the success you dream of, the impact you were meant to have, it's all waiting for you on the other side of action. Not someday. Not eventually, right now. The question isn't whether you can do it. The question is, will you begin? The time is now. Your move